Shabbat Shalom to all of you. We are at the part of the ending of the parashot, or the messages, or the portions about Abraham Avinu. We start with Lech Lecha 2 weeks ago, then we went to Vayera, and now the last one that talks about specifically our father Abraham and Sarah is here in Chayei Sarah. Now, this is interesting, the term, first of all, because this is a parasha naming under one woman. And I'm going to tell you one thing. This is the parasha for the women, okay? And to tell you that we, the Jewish people, even that we believe in we are patriarchals, the boss is at home, okay? And you don't think Sarah was the boss, you do not know Sarah, okay? She was in control. And interestingly enough, here, it is, we call it in Spanish, passing la batuta. That means passing the baton to the next lady. And it was not passed to Isaac, was passed to Rivka. And you're going to see that Rivka and Sarah has a lot of things in common. But we're going to look a little later about that. But like I have been telling you, my purpose this year is to teach you not about how much knowledge do we have about how much theological understanding of this and that, but to tell you about what really the Torah is all about. The word Torah, as I have explained to you before, means teachings, means principles, means directions. Has nothing to do with the legal issue, has nothing to do with laws. As very terrible has been translated, especially in the Septuagint. You know, it's very terrible when you read Torah and in the Septuagint you say nomos. You know, that is the most terrible thing that happened. Why? Because the legalism came into it and destroyed the essence of the message of our Creator. When you become legalist, you lose the essence of the calling and the sense of service, you know, and you do it only because you are ordained to do it, instead coming from you to respond to a relationship. You know, last week I asked you in the question that we're talking about, how many of us that we are married, we can say that we know our spouse completely, you know? And in this rhetorical question, everybody knew that it's impossible, that you can spend the whole life with your spouse, and there are many areas that you won't know that person completely. The same way, when you spend all the time with the Creator, closer relationship that you have, you start knowing certain things, but you cannot know Him completely. It's impossible. But what is important it is that more and more that you spend time with Him, you increase that relationship, and you start to understand more what is the desires and the ways to do certain things. Here we have Sarah and Abraham Avinu, our father Abraham, a relationship that we hear from them when he was 75 years old, are coming to the promised land. No, and you're going to see numbers that are given there. He's leaving his native country in the parasha Lech Lecha, and they're only following the advice or the direction of the Creator. And they're doing strictly by faith. They do not know even where they are going. They don't know what territory they are going to end. They are only following Him. But look at that wife. She is following her husband. She could say, I don't go with you. That's enough for me. I am very comfortable in my place. And we have seen that in certain ways. Do you remember about Lot and his wife? You know, she almost didn't want to leave. And because of that, look at what happened to her. We see that she was a strong woman, and she went with her husband. And in this process, they were getting elderly, and they didn't have descendants. They didn't have children. And she sees that, and then they hear a promise from the Creator that the Abraham Avinu is going to have this descendants, and he's going to be a blessing for all humanity. And even he questioned the Creator and he said, who am I going to give all my inheritance? To my servants? And then the Creator said, no, through you, they're going to have this inheritance. Look at Sarah. Sarah looks at this, and Sarah say, I am an old woman. It's obvious that I cannot have any more children. Why I don't bring my servant Hagar, and you know, a chosen lady? And Hagar needed to be a special lady, by the way, before anything happened. In order that Sarah choose Hagar to be the one that is going to bring a descendant to Abraham. But what happened here is a principle. The principle it is, don't get ahead of the Creator. Anytime that you get ahead, you are going to make terrible mistake. No? You know, through that, getting ahead of the plans, she had a goodwill, by the way. She was thinking, you know, I am too old, I cannot have children. But the Creator has already promised. Then in chapter 16, we see how she has a problem now with Hagar and Ishmael, and then she wants to get rid of her. No? And then in chapter 17, again, the Creator tell Abraham that he's going to have descendants. In chapter 18, that we saw it, you know, she heard inside the tent, and she laughed. And she said, I, an old woman that is totally dry, and we all men, like Abraham Avinu, in that part, in that side, she was totally wrong. He was not too old. He could work. But she was still dry, you know? And how are we going to have a child? And the question it is, why do you live? And there is a question here. Is there anything impossible for the Creator? What a beautiful principle that we need to have all of us. Is there anything impossible for the Creator? Because we sometimes think that that's not possible. No? He does it. And he brings, you know, she becomes pregnant, and she has a child. By the way, only this picture is very helpful even to understand our Messiah Yeshua birth. Only this simple picture. I want to tell you why. Many people have not developed this idea, but I want to give you an idea here. In the Torah, they give you pictures to show you how the Creator works. You know? And if you are carefully reading the Torah, you're going to see, and also the Tanakh, there are certain parts in the Tanakh, that mostly the women who have problems to get pregnant, there is an intervention from the Creator, and then the Creator opened their womb, and they become pregnant through their husbands. Listen, here very important line. Through their husband. These ladies don't become pregnant through the air. You cannot get pregnant through the air. Okay? They got pregnant through their husbands. And you're going to see not only her, but the next generation, especially with Isaac. We're going to see the next week, Toldot. When Rivka complains that she had been for 20 years and she cannot have a child. And even Isaac said, what to me? What I can do? I am not the creator. And he asks, intervenes. And the creator opens again the womb. And what comes? Twins. You know, and you're going to see that there is always, in those pregnancies, there's somebody special that has a special role to fulfill. We can see it with Leah. Leah was in the translation is the hated one, you know, but that's not a good translation. It's the one that was not the pretty one. It will be better to put it. We want not the one that Jacob liked it. And what did the Lord, what the Creator say? I going to open her womb in order that she can have children because she has not been appreciated. And she has several children. The same thing that with Rachel. Finally, you know, Rachel está con what's wrong with me, and what he does? He opens her womb, and who is born? Joseph. You see everything that you see. Let's go a little further. Let's go to, first of all, to Ching Chong and the Judges. You know him as Samson, no? You know, the Samson Samson's mother couldn't get pregnant. And then, finally, she requested, and she got pregnant. Through whom? Through the hocus pocus or through a man? No? Okay. Then, finally, we had Hannah. Hannah, and who Hannah brought to us? Shmuel, the prophet. No? Then we have, by the way, I don't know how many of you know, but Samuel was a direct descendant of Korah. You see, there are many beautiful stories here that I can put it. Then with Yeshua, it's the same thing. We have a young lady, pre-puberty menstrual, and then she cannot get pregnant. God opened her womb because through her is going to come somebody special. But who is the one that brings the child? From the air? No, Joseph. Joseph was not there, a little boy that didn't know what to do. He was trained by his father. And by the way, this idea that Mary was a young girl and Joseph was an old man is totally an invention. But people want to believe in that way. That's right. They both were very young because that was the times when the marriage was a very young age. Well, here you see the picture comes from Sarah and Abraham and goes all the way to Torah to fulfill and to give us pictures, teachings that are very important to apply. And we don't need to go so far to understand why. The Creator brings somebody through these special women, brings special people, special men. You have Sarah, then you're going to have Rivka, and so on. But what we can apply today? We always, I like that phrase on last week, I said, is there anything impossible for the Creator? And I have been living here, Sarah lived, this parasha is about the life of Sarah. And really what we are talking about is Abraham Avinu is trying to look for a place to bury Sarah. And he starts doing a series of talking to the Hittites, who owns all that portion of land, specifically Hebron. If you go today to the area, I had the opportunity to go there. I went there And I was protected by the army when I went there. I was very interesting when I went there because it's very difficult to go in Hebron and to visit there. And what was very interesting there, you know, they had built like a mosque, okay, in the tomb. And they call it Abrahamic Mosque, or the Mosque of Abraham, okay? And this is the Maaret Machpelah, you know, the caves of caves. That's what will be Machpelah, you know, many caves inside. And they have taken as their own, and it's there. And that is talking about Israel. But this is how we can say that even that land we have here in the Torah, that Abraham Avinu didn't receive it as a gift. He paid for it. And he overpaid. You know, only to say to something, you know, let's see that the terrain was $1,000, the value. You know, if Ephron charged 100,000, that is the difference. You know, overcharge. But I am glad that Abraham Avinu was not poor. He had money. He paid for it, full price. And we had a deed for that. If somebody wants to question about, it's there, the deed. He paid for it. That belongs to Israel. What we can learn from all these stories? You know, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the God of the Creator, the only God, there is no other beside him. Blessed be his name. Why he chose Abraham? You know, it's interesting. If you are carefully reading the Torah, never say that Abraham was a tzaddik. Noah was a tzaddik, a righteous man. But not Abraham. But Abraham had a special thing. Had a very close relationship with the Creator. And through that close relationship, he developed something that nobody else had. The Creator talked to him in many ways, and he listened. I have told you about the word halacha that's used in rabbinical Judaism especially. What it really means to walk along. In Christianity, they have used the synonym, they call it parakleto. And they have make it that as the Holy Spirit. You know? But what it really means is to walk on the side of God. To be with a Creator, always having a relationship. To walk on the side of one, what it really means is to have a relationship with a person. Sometimes we become so theological that we lost the historical facts. And we make castle in the air and we don't build on the earth. And the principles are built on earth. The Creator used examples for you and me through the times. And he spoke to the people according to what they could understand, not according to what we understand today. Then this is the reason why we need to be historical savvies. We need to understand why they talk in that way, why they use certain things in that way. Do you know there is a portion here in the before when Sarah asked Abraham Avinu to get rid of the Hagar and to get rid of their son. You know, in the Hammurabi code, there is a portion that say that when you have a concubine, you know, and you do not want that the child of the concubine inherited from you, you need to get rid of her. Then what we need to understand is that historically speaking, Abraham Avinu had he was living in a situation, in a world, that they had certain orders and certain ways of behavior, conventions. And the Creator was trying to change those things in a way that us as a people will be more just and will be more honest with each other. But this is a process. The same thing when we see in Israel, for example, when Israel needs to get out of Egypt. You know, he doesn't change Israel in a second. Takes 40 years, 2 generations, to start trusting in him. They were already brainwashed. And they needed to change. I have been teaching to you about I have been teaching to you about paradigm shift. How many of us we come from different religions? How many of us we have learned theological dissertations? How many of us we are doctrinal stuck? And we are put in a box. And we are told that if we get out of the box, we explode. And we are scared to see outside. Do you know that most of the religions, they use censorship to put fear on you? Because they do not want that you know. They want to keep you literally like a slave of their own myths and their own doctrines. The Creator has given us wisdom, has given us brains, has given us head. He has given Bechirah Hofshi free will to learn. Sarah and Abraham, they live as a couple, and they had the many, many problems. Their life was not easy. But we can see in the description of both of them how humans they were. That's what I like about the Torah. The Torah describes our heroes as human beings, not as superheroes, not as gods, but as men and women that they walk on the earth. And they have the great things and they have the bad things. They have the conquerings and the failures. Nobody's better than the other. All of them, they struggle. Because life is a struggle. You're going to see Sarah first bringing the woman to Abraham, and then the jealousy, then throw the woman out. You see two sides of Sarah. Many people say that in this parasha, our sages tell us that the reason they're talking about the death of Sarah is because Sarah heard last week parasha, the Akedah, you know, that Abraham Avinu has killed Isaac, and she had a heart attack, and she died. This is the reason, by the way, that everybody say that at the time of the Akedah, you know, Isaac was 37 years old. It's very interesting also to learn that according to the historians now, the scholars, they say that Yeshua was 37 years old when he was killed. No? It's interesting about the dates, the numbers. And then, interestingly enough, they say that Isaac was married 40 years, when he was 40 years. Another thing that you need to know, what they say are sages. The Rivka was 3 years old when she married. Now, do you believe those things? No. You see, but there are people who believe it. And why? Because somebody says so. We need to understand why they say certain things. Why they say that she was only 3 years old? What they say? Because they wanted to say that she was very innocent. That's all. They wanted to clear that Rivka had nothing evil on her. Big mistake. Why big mistake? Any time that we're trying to clean somebody, trying to make them perfect, we fail. And that is what happened with Sarah. We had made Sarah a superwoman. And she was a great mother, matriarchal of the people of Israel. But she was a human being. She has good parts and bad parts. She did good things and she did bad things. This is what we need to learn from this parasha. Then, at the end of this parasha, there are two portions. The next is when, after Abraham Avinu buried Sarah, the next thing that he's going to do is to look for a wife for Isaac. And what is the first thing that he said to the man, his servant, that he sent it to look for his wife? Do not allow my son to marry any Canaanite. I'm going to explain something. First of all, I need to say something that is important that you understand, because we need to look at the scripture for what it says, not for what we have heard. The servant was not Eliezer. Okay? Everybody, even the rabbis, they're going to tell you that was Eliezer. It's no Eliezer. In the parasha, never ever the name is announced. Only Ish. Ish, the man. Never Eliezer. Okay. But he was a very special servant that Abraham trusted. And he sent it to look. And why not a Canaanite woman? Because, let me tell you one thing that is inter. I have seen many intermarriages, Jews with Gentile women. What happened when the Jewish man marry a Gentile woman and stay in the Gentile environment? The children lose their identity. They become Gentiles. He needed to bring a woman outside the middle, the midst that they were, that was not related to these people at all, in order that his son could keep his ideology and his ideas that the Father has passed to him, the same way that Abraham brought to all his people out of the Aram to Canaan. And he needed to continue the message. But what happened if he married a Canaanite? And in 10 years, all the descendants will be Canaanites. And he needed to protect these teachings from the Creator. He found a woman that is very special, Rivka. And I say she is the continuation of Sarah. A strong woman, very capable, and to the end, she follows what she needed to do. But she had a problem. This is the problem when you have a husband and wife, and they have children. When they take sides for the children. She took side for Jacob, and Isaac took side for Esau. Now, let me ask you this question. If Isaac was the direct, descendant of Abraham, who had the connection with the Creator. He couldn't have the intelligence or the understanding that the next follower of this line needed to be the most suitable. Why he chose Esau and not Jacob, who supposedly was the most giving? And why Rivka, without being part of this direct line of Abraham, has better understanding than Isaac? But don't worry, the next week I'm going to answer those questions, or I want to try to deal with those questions. But I put it this way, because you're going to see something about women, about the relationship with the Creator, and how we as men, if we are wise, we need to always listen to the women, but our responsibility as men is to take the decisions. Abraham Avinu, when he was asked to, he didn't want to get rid of Hagar and Ishmael, but he heard a voice, a bad call, who said, listen to Sarah and do what she tells you. Our beloved Rabbi, because of that statement, they have developed this idea, what I do not agree, by the way. But they have developed this idea, that Sarah was a greater prophetess than Abraham. And to me, there is no a greater or lower prophetess. To me, is everybody has a role to fulfill and to play. Anytime that you start valuing one better than the other, you fall in a trap. What you need to understand is about our roles. What is our roles in life? There is no better role than one or the other. I, as your rabbi, I am no better than anybody, any one of you. And you, as members in different positions, you are no better than anybody else. Because each one of us, we have a role to fulfill. Now, we are better in our role when we do it the best that we can. We are failures when we do not do our role, what we need to do, what we have been called to do. And this is what I want for you to understand about this community and to understand about what we are trying to teach. Because to me, the most important thing is to understand that we do not follow a religion. We follow the Creator. We follow the Borei Olam. Yes, I believe in biblical Judaism. And it's very important to follow biblical Judaism because it's the revelation of the Creator to his people. And the Torah has been given for all. The Torah was given to us, the Jews, for us to give it away to the rest of the world. Can you imagine how will be the world today if we keep the Ten Commandments? What different we will be? But no, we need other things because we are very complicated people. And our failure is always when we cease to do what we need to do. That is our failure. Well, we need to wake up. Sarah left us a wonderful inheritance. She fought for her son, and she wanted for him to become the man that he needs to be. And Isaac became the man. And he took one step forward. But Isaac himself was not totally correct. what the Torah is teaching us, and we're going to see with the times, that is no one that's perfect, only the Creator. There is no human being that's perfect, because we are humans, only the Creator. And this is what we need to accept. Then, we finish in this way. If there is something that we can learn from this parasha, and Sarah live, is that all of us will keep living through what we give to others. We keep living by our own life, giving to others. Instead to be selfish, we are givers. We live because our example, not because we are in cluster or we are hiding ourselves. Totally the contrary. Is to live. Life is the greatest gift that the Creator has given to us. Another thing that's very interesting from this parasha is about what I call it eternity. You know, Yeshua himself said, God is not the God of the dead. It's God of the Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, our fathers. And then that means that they're still alive. Because true life is not this limiting thing that we're having here on this earth, in this material world. True life goes beyond us. And that's what Sarah is giving this example. At the end, also talks in this parasha the death of our father Abraham Avinu. After Sarah died, he was 137. He later on, there is a midrash that say that Isaac, when he was in the field in those 3 years, between 37 and 40 before they found a wife, his job was to find a wife to his father. There is a midrash, by the way. And finally, he found another wife for his father, Keturah. And Keturah was a very nice wife, and according to certain midrash, Keturah was Hagar, you know? It all depending which midrash you read. But whatever it is, you know, at the end he said that he has his children and concubines. And concubines is in plural. And that also has created a lot of problems. We say, well, then our sages, they say, concubine is because Hagar. But Hagar is only one. Well, Hagar and Keturah, but Keturah is Hagar, there's only one. You know, no, in other words, what it say is that we don't know what happened, but even mention 6 names of the children. And one of them are the Midianites, that later on we are going to see it in Shemo, HaSefer, in the book of Exodus. And all of this, what is so interesting to put it all together, about the promise of the Creator that gave it to Abraham Avinu, that he was going to be the father of many nations. He did it. He fulfilled it. But here is something also that is very important I'm trying to teach you. To be part of Israel is very important. What is important? Because being part of Israel is the calling that you have to give away the teachings of the Creator to the rest. To be Or Legoyim, to be light to the world. And you're going to see that to be part of Israel, not necessarily is blood, as many people trying to make it. Being part of Israel, from the beginning, the basic principle is the calling. Abraham was called from outside. Let me ask you this question. Have you been called? Shabbat Shalom.